Welcome to Tuesdays with Terry. We're very excited for you to join us today. This is our inaugural show at Aquinas College. Really, Tuesdays with Terry is about sharing information about all things Aquinas. Not only our community members, our faculty, staff, members in the Grand Rapids community, really just sharing and talking about all things Aquinas. We're very excited because this is an avenue for us to get to know each other, but also get to know some of the members in our community and some of our students and some of the exciting things that are happening on campus. Again, I'm excited of this community and excited to be your provost. My name's Terry Keller, and I'm excited to share with you a little bit about some of the recent happenings, but also what we're doing and what we plan to do over the next semester. So my first guest here on Tuesdays with Terry is, I'm joined by Gretchen. Gretchen is our associate provost here at Aquinas and one of our recent block instructors, actually not recent, actually it is really recent in our block program. And so Gretchen, tell us a little bit about what brought you to Aquinas. Kind of go back first, and then we'll focus on the present.
Okay. Well, I am an Aquinas grad. I received my master's degree in education from Aquinas. I believe it was in 2001. And I was teaching English at the time when I received my master's degree from Aquinas. I actually got my initial certification as a teacher from Aquinas. And then ended up teaching in the classroom, in the high school classroom for 4 years and had a great experience, but wanted to pursue additional graduate study. Yeah. So I ended up going to Western Michigan University and pursued a PhD in English education. And when I was done, well, almost done, I was ABD, all but dissertation, a position opened up at Aquinas. And I was very happy to be hired in as the director of first year comp at that point, inquiry and expression. Okay. So I started at Aquinas in 2008 as the director of first year writing and in the English department. And since then, I've continued to work in the English department, but I've been kind of you could say like a Jill of all trades, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Chaired the philosophy department at one point.
Okay, yeah.
Worked as the director of general education, and now I'm serving in this role, and it's been great.
Good. And when you think about your experience at Aquinas and what you've done, what's one memory that kind of sticks out in the classroom with your students? Is it an activity? Is it an assignment? What's something that kind of sticks out for you?
Yeah. I would say one of the most meaningful experiences that I have each semester is in my Writing Center Theory and Practice course. It's a course that trains students to work in our campus writing center, which is a really well-developed and just full of talented consultants. And so every semester we do a writing marathon. Okay. We spend 3 hours writing in all sorts of places all over campus. And I tell students, if someone asks you what you're doing, you just say, we're writers, we're writing.
And this could be inside, outside, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Okay.
They will sometimes go in the chapel and write. They'll go to the second floor of Albertus and write. They'll come in here and write. And then we will conclude our writing marathon in the alumni room in the basement of Holmdene. Okay. And we do a reading, and we have refreshments. Yeah. And it's pretty profound what students are able to write in 3 hours. They have to focus on something that's fun for them to write, so that they can really capture their writer identity.
That's awesome.
That's those moments are the most meaningful. And then the Writing Center director, Julie Bevins, and I will usually send her a poem that I wrote during that writing marathon, and then she will usually write back with a poem in response.
That's fantastic.
So,
yeah. And as you think about all that you've done, that's a great example. And we look at just earlier this semester, I was able to come in and spend some time with your block class. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of the things you did in this first block? Block, right?
Yes. We just finished our first block. It finished yesterday. Our block classes are 16 days long. So normally 3 5-day weeks, Monday through Friday, and then Monday through Wednesday in the final week. And the focus is truly on experiential and relationship-based learning.
Yeah.
So the goal with my students was to build classroom relationships in a classroom community right away. And we had opportunities to do that pretty quickly because the students were in class for 3 hours per day. So by the 4th day of class, they had only been on campus taking classes for 4 days, but they were starting to act very cohesive as a group. And so the goal was to bring in as many class speakers as we possibly could. So you were a class speaker.
It was great.
We had Dr. Satya Lendrum from our sociology department come and talk about mindfulness. We had Jason Duncan from our history department come and talk about the history of elections and the importance of voting. Because the theme of my course was Know Thyself. And the goal was for students to investigate their own selves and how they could care for themselves and be the best people that they could be. So in that effort, they did a lot of research-based writing. They researched the history of the mental health problem in the United States and investigated ways to respond to that. They did an environmental scan where they chose a topic that was very personal to them and then researched it with the help of campus librarians and then wrote up annotated bibliographies and then kind of a memo on what they learned from that. And students said that was uncomfortable. They did say that was an uncomfortable assignment because they were choosing something that was very personal to them, but very meaningful. And then yesterday, so we went all over campus and students also had a chance to research other places off campus, East Town and Frederick Meyer Gardens, so that they could check in with themselves about ways that they can care for themselves using the outdoors. And our final exam was yesterday. We met at the Canal Park in Grand Rapids along the river, and then there were various places that they visited along the river in the effort to help them learn more about Grand Rapids as a city, and then they wrote up reflections on that, and students found that to be really meaningful as well.
Well, this is great. And, thank you for, talking a little bit about that and sharing with our audience.
It's making me lonely for my students.
And it is amazing how quick and how impactful that relationship starts to build right away.
Absolutely.
And now is one of the kind of the fun parts of the show where we get to know Gretchen a little bit. And one of the things that we're going to do is we have a segment on the show called Biscuit's Corner. So Biscuit is my 6-year-old yellow lab that over the last 6 years of Biscuit's time being a part of our family has become an integral part of looking at individuals and being able to talk about their pets. So Gretchen, one of the things that I ask you is to send in a photo of your pet. So we have a great photo and I want to send it over to you to talk a little bit about this.
Well, Gracie is a Yorkshire Terrier. She's 9 years old. She's 5.5 pounds. So weighs a little bit more than Biscuit.
Little.
But the interesting thing about Gracie is that she thinks that she's as big as Biscuit,
absolutely.
As terriers
the confidence,
yes,
the confidence.
She's very confident. And she loves, that picture was taken at Pine Lake, where my husband and I share our time. And she loves being on the pontoon boat.
Oh, that's awesome,
so, she has a little life jacket that she wears that's got a shark fin on it.
There you go.
So
all of this is awesome.
She really enjoys that.
And an integral part of Gretchen's daily life, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes.
She is all of our baby.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Now what we have is an opportunity that Gretchen did not know about this, but we do a segment on the show called Rapid Fire. Now, these are questions that are straightforward. Don't think about them, Gretchen. But we're going to ask Gretchen a little bit about herself and some of her preferences. And there are some classics that we'll ask every time. So as you come on the show, you won't get the same ones, but you will get some of the same ones. All right, Gretchen, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's your favorite cookie?
Chocolate chip.
Okay. Your favorite ice cream?
Peanut butter swirl.
Do you prefer gloves or mittens?
Gloves.
Why gloves?
For driving.
Okay. Okay.
That's when I normally wear them.
Now, the last one here we'll do is, what's your most memorable elementary school experience?
Ooh, this is rapid fire.
Yeah.
I
You have one.
I won the 5th grade spelling bee.
Oh, there you go. And your winning word, do you remember the winning word?
I don't remember the winning word, but I do remember the word that I lost on when I went to the next level, like the regional spelling bee in my community. And it was ableist, which is ABLEST, but I thought it was ABLIST.
Okay.
Because my mom mispronounced it when she was quizzing me. She was pronouncing it ablest instead of ableist.
Okay.
So I'm not blaming my mom.
But you remember that very clearly.
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons that we have this is it's kind of a fun to think about, things that we don't often think about.
Yes.
And when you look at, Gretchen's championship spelling bee, 5th grade, you said?
5th grade.
5th grade. Mm-hmm. I'll give you any other memories that came to mind as we were talking about this kind of elementary school.
Oh, I would say a more general experience would just be my 1st grade classroom where I learned to read.
Okay.
And my teacher, Mrs. Phipps, who was just incredible and kept us busy and always had piles of papers all over the room, but wanted us to make books.
Excellent.
And that was very formative.
Excellent. And one last rapid fire to wrap us up. Your favorite cheese?
Oh, probably blue.
Blue. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Gretchen, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on Tuesdays with Terry. We'll be right back here shortly with our next guest. Welcome back to Tuesdays with Terry. We're very excited to have our next guest for today's episode. Alicia is joining us, so welcome to Tuesdays with Terry.
Thank you.
And one of the things that we talked about as you were preparing to come on the show is there's a lot of action items, exciting things, if you will, happening in student life here at Aquinas. So I wanted to have you come on the show and talk a little bit about some of the things happening, because, we're getting a lot of questions and, what's happening with counseling services, and then where is your office? Just fun things like that. And yeah, this is a chance for us to kind of share with our Aquinas community kind of what's going on. So go ahead, Alicia, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here. And it's been a whirlwind of a start, but it's been fun. And so we're excited. There's a lot of new energy in our space over in Lower Donnelly because that part of the team is all together. And it's the first time we've had, that type of environment. So that's been fun. So over in Lower Donnelly, we have Residence Life Orientation, Center for Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity, and also the Dean of Students Office.
Okay.
The counseling center has moved over to WEGI.
Okay.
So now I've been describing it to students. Think about all things that are private or confidential for your health. They are all in the same place.
Okay.
Accessibility services, the counseling center, and also the health center.
Yes.
And so it has been, definitely a lot of questions and wondering about what's happening with the counseling center. And we're excited because we are right now searching for a new director. And we're really excited about when that person joins our team, and then also the synergy that can happen between those three offices now in that space. So I want students to get used to finding them all together, but also get excited for what's next for them as we have a new person with some ideas too for what that space will be like and feel like, and also the services that we'll offer our students. But we're excited.
And it does sound like there's opportunity for kind of some synergy, some programming, some collaborative work with faculty and staff and our students really
Yes.
kind of in that wellness space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're also excited about is, although we've had great services in the past, now doing things like offering hours that are more convenient to our students, some evening opportunities, some virtual opportunities, and just trying to make sure we're listening to the needs and then figuring out ways that we can expand our services based on what our students want to see. And so, you know, they've been bearing with us as we get it all figured out, and we're just grateful for the direction we're headed in.
No, that's great. And one of the things that you do for us here at Aquinas is our Title IX coordinator. Can you talk just briefly about that and
Yes.
kind of,
So we, you know, through the Dean of Students Office, that's technically one of our responsibilities, is making sure that, you know, just like all of our other wonderful institutions, that we have someone responsible for Title IX, but making sure that our students are aware of the services, that they know how to report anything that has happened, and then that we're taking care of them through the process so that they understand what's happening and what supports are available to them as well. I think that, you know, we also are lucky to have our grant through the Office for Violence Against Women that is all about prevention and victim services, and making sure that we are creating sustainable support efforts for the future too, for students that have experienced sexual assault or domestic violence of any kind. And so we are just chomping at the bit, waiting to be able to start some of that prevention programming that the grant will also allow us to do.
And, you know, one of the things I wanted to say as well is a thank you and kudos to not only your team, our entire student support team, for a great orientation this year. I know I saw many folks early in the morning.
Yes.
But also, you know, later in the day throughout the, you know, I would say like those few days, but it really kind of with Welcome Week and some of the other events carried into, you know, that start of the semester.
Yes, we know that that first 6 weeks are vital for students. And so we really try to be intentional to have a lot of different opportunities for students to engage during that time of their transition back to campus, but also if it's their first time here on campus, we want to make sure that they have support. And, you know, this guy was a familiar face at a lot of those social events we had at orientation. And it's a balance of, you know, welcoming our students to campus and making sure they have the resources they need, but also having a little bit of fun and showing them that wholeness of the college experience, that we take it seriously what you will be doing in the classroom, but also there's going to be some social development and emotional development that happens while you're here too. So we had a good time, and we were happy that to see your face at so many of those events.
Yeah, and it's great. And I think it speaks to, as we think about all of the things happening at Aquinas, just it speaks to our community. And I'm very thankful to be a part of this community because of all the members that step up when needed. Everything from, you know, our faculty in the last year, you know, helping in the registrar's office, helping with the counseling center, doing many other things throughout campus. And then this year, just seeing the excitement with our teams moving forward and idea sharing. I mean, that's what, you know, Aquinas College and what we do here is all about. So,
absolutely,
you know, a thank you again as well. Now is where we get to know you a little bit.
Okay,
so
I'm ready.
We come into our segment, Biscuits Corner, which we had with our previous guest, Gretchen, and talk a little bit about pets. Now, when Alicia and I had the conversation about this, she had an interesting story, but we do have a photo of Augie, is that right?
Yes.
So your story's a little different.
Yes, I had to dig deep to find a pet to bring in today as an example for me, because my husband and I don't have a pet. However, we have a 5-year-old goddaughter, and her name is Victoria, and Victoria has a dog named Augie.
Perfect.
And apparently with Victoria comes Augie.
Okay.
So when they went out of town for spring break, we actually had Augie for a whole week, and that was quite the adventure for people that don't have a dog at all.
That is fair, yeah.
And he taught us a lot. I think he cured my husband of wanting a dog of his own, so that was worth every minute of the work. But he's super cute, and it was definitely a good experience to have a little snuggly dog at our house. So I definitely thought of Augie first when you asked me.
Perfect. And I think that's the piece of, you know, with our guest and Biscuits Corner is really taking to get these stories and just how much fun it is learning about our members of the community.
Yes.
Now I have a little segment we
Okay.
like to do, rapid fire.
Okay.
So don't think about it too much, just answer.
Okay, I'm ready.
Your favorite cookie?
Favorite cookie, oatmeal chocolate chip from Potbelly.
Okay. Favorite ice cream?
Oh, that's hard because I love ice cream, but I'm just gonna go with right now what's my favorite. My favorite right now is Hudsonville peanut butter waffle cone. It has chocolate waffle cone pieces. You gotta try it if you haven't.
That's a strong recommendation right there. Yeah. Gloves or mittens?
Gloves.
Why gloves?
I feel like I'm too connected to my technology. I
Okay.
need to be able to like use my phone with my
Okay.
gloves on.
Okay.
And now, you know, they have those little
Oh, the little things on
finger
the- yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So with the mitten, I feel like I'd be kind of stuck.
Okay. One of our last ones here, it's sort of rapid fire, but I want you to think just briefly on the first thing that comes to your mind. What is one of your most memorable elementary school experiences?
That's hard. I feel like that's probably where I have the least memories. I don't know if that just means I'm getting old. Really, I think mine is kind of funny to me now, but it wasn't funny at the time. It was getting the chicken pox, which is not even a thing anymore because now I think kids are vaccinated for chicken pox. But in my day, everybody got the chicken pox and you actually wanted to go ahead and get it out of the way so that then you would never have it again. And I missed watching The Little Mermaid at school because I had the chicken pox and I had to stay at home. And I just remember being so upset that I was at home itching and all my classmates were watching The Little Mermaid in elementary school. So it's like kind of funny. I think that was actually, maybe that was trauma. Maybe that's not a happy example, but it's funny to me now that that is like such a like moment to me that I missed watching The Little Mermaid.
What grade was it? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I would have to ask my mom when I had the chicken pox to even figure it out because she's one of those people that remembers like every little thing, kept every little drawing and all those things. So I know she could probably tell me, but I don't even remember what grade I was in. It had to be, it was definitely before 4th grade because I changed schools.
Yeah.
So
And
it
it's
definitely was
interesting,
early.
the chickenpox thing, you know, because I remember I grew up in a very rural community, and one of our kind of neighbors who lived fairly close to us got chickenpox, and then a bunch of us kids were sent over there. And then we all ended up with chickenpox. So
I think we're telling our age here.
I think we
because
are. I
it's
think we
definitely
probably are.
a
Yeah.
generational thing
Yep.
where this was happening everywhere. That was the thing.
Yeah.
You wanted your kid to get the chicken pox.
It's just an interesting. So thank you. One of the last one, I'll ask your favorite cheese.
Oh, favorite cheese. Oh man, these are really making me think. I think sharp cheddar. Just gotta go with my basic response that I like on a sandwich. I like in mac and cheese. I like on a charcuterie board. I mean, I could get fancier because there are definitely some fancier ones that I like, but I feel like that's a classic that never fails me.
Awesome. Well, Alicia, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening.
Yep. Thank you for being a part of the show. And we'll be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Tuesdays with Terry. We're very happy that you joined us this week. Again, very thankful to Gretchen and Alicia for joining our show this week. One of the things that I want to say is this show is about the Aquinas community, so would love to have you as a guest on scheduling those out. So feel free to email me directly and we can get you on the schedule. And again, we look forward to sharing not only updates, but introducing some of our new employees here on campus, sharing faculty research, sharing what's happening in the classroom, sharing what our staff are doing, sharing what our athletes and coaches and really our Dominican sisters, really taking time to learn more about what's happening here at Aquinas and sharing this with our community. So again, I thank you for joining us for our first episode and look forward to seeing you in future episodes. Have a great day.